Scorpio. We're just on a roll with these readings. Okay, it is Gemini season. Before we get into it, all information to work with me one-on-one is below, as well as the extended portion to this reading, which I highly recommend. So, Hangman is still coming out for you. That's so funny because that was like the theme of last month, and this month seems to be the sun, but we'll see. So, there's something that you're still mulling over, pondering. It's okay. There'll be a lot of action for some people this month, whether it's to do with talking, actually acting on something, taking action, or even relationships. You know, people may find themselves enjoying other people more, friendships, relationships. And some of us will be in contemplative place. It's a season of that can change a lot, but also nothing. It's a season that words just get thrown out and used. It's a season that can be held and utilized in a way that you need in your life right now. And for you, it's to pull back. For you, there's something that you're still not ready. There's a part of you that's still maybe in winter, still not ready to move away from. This season will encourage you to do it in a way that's different, in a way that's loving, in a way that's gentle, in a way that is really important for you. Really important to your true nature. There's something even more, lack of a better word, enlightening about the internal strength that you have and that you utilize, and about what it is that that's being exposed through this pulling back, of this being a little more gentle, a little less sharp. Allowing Gemini to give you a space to be open, willing, you know, where you don't have to feel forced into anything, where you can feel safe. And there's a lot of people out here who aren't going to feel that way. You will save yourself if you decide, especially entering this season, you'll save yourself some unnecessary words and fights. And it's saying that to pull back on your speech, to think maybe before you speak, to realize that a lot of times when we have something to say, or if there's something that is just coming out because you can say it or something got brought up, it doesn't mean you utilize, because then you give your weaponry away. Then what good is it to you or your life, right? So it's important that you not give yourself away, especially prematurely, especially also for some of you, this is more about you. This pulling back makes you realize how many times you have, or maybe just even thinking about this last time, perhaps, that something was coming into your life. It seemed like the perfect thing. It seemed like the right time, but then it ended up being something that just confirmed this part of you that has to be overbearing, overprotective. You know, water signs are moving through, but now we have Leo coming through, meeting Cancer, you know, replacing Cancer in some of these aspects. But other than that, it's because so much may have been brought up to the surface, and now it's like time to expose or time to heal or time to see, time to gather. And it's not to cause any strain. It's about taking your time, but also noticing when and if you hide for too long or you pull back for too long, how much that can turn maybe into regret. So with loving eyes and a compassionate heart this month, just take a look at what you have once and what offense, you could say, in fight or in life, to the universe, to source, to whatever is guiding you in this lifetime, that it's time to move it through this place of being nurtured. And you're like, well, we're in Gemini season. Well, yeah, Geminis aren't lacking of nurture. They sit in between two of the most nurturing signs, Taurus and Cancer. Like, come on. So even Gemini knows when to, pull back and be strong for themselves, because what has transpired is that you'll see all this time, you were maybe working off of this, and I think we talked about it a little bit, and this card has given me a little bit more perspective recently, where you seem unattached or cool or collected, but really that's your way of controlling. That's Sagittarius's way. You can learn from them, but you can't be them, right? If you have Sagittarius in your chart, this can really hit. And you can also take that on in an extent, but it's also like, well, where is this freeing you up to have your own perspective or your own place? And this could also be where you realize you're not just, where you have these extremes and where you maybe, suffer because of them or hold back because of them or not do what you want, because ultimately Scorpio, depending on like your other parts of your chart and parts of you and how you were, brought up in all these other aspects, right? All these different things that make you who you are. Scorpio is a natural risk taker and powerful. And this pulling back in a season that just wants you to engage constantly is powerful. Okay? And you realize why, and you realize why it's important for you right now is because there's so much of your energy that's meant to be used, but that next month will be that time. That when Cancer season is wreaking havoc in everyone else's life, sips coffee. It will, it's going to do it in everyone's life to their own extent. But you will be riding the wave, right? You'll be riding that current because you understand that this month, if it could show you anything, that the only thing you can control is this very solid demeanor that you have, very conscious demeanor that you have. Now, it may have you realized how extremely powerful this masculine energy, this maybe father figure, this demanding, overbearing energy is coming from. And this is like that right before Cancer season, and you're like, okay, this is probably what's, what I'm creating space for in this moment. You see here, right in the middle of all of this. We're gonna keep going. Okay. So that's a really important thing. I think some of the true Scorpios I know when to take time for themselves. When to pull back. When it's not, when it's time. Because you feel something coming. You're about to go through something. You're about to change. Something like, a little dramatic's going to happen. So you take yourself away and you allow yourself to break free from not only patterning in your life, but from kind of running into this same person over and over again, or the same part of yourself over and over again. You get to consciously choose now. You know, it's as if you're this literally, let's just, what if you were this person just laying down? And then you know how in movies sometimes they show like the bubbles or thoughts or scenarios above their head and they're imagining things. Well, let's imagine it. You know, like this is a huge form of healing. So maybe you take a moment to imagine it. You know, I'm doing this in my podcasts too now. Might as well just like do it while we're there, right? So take this time to imagine it. Let's get back to it. And you see all the ways that you've been shown to be, or emit your masculine energy, or how you choose to dominate, what you choose to be competitive of. You know, Mars in Cancer for you is this space where you get to explore all these different ways you and the communication of the universe is just the macrocosm to the microcosm of you and yourself. You realize that what you've maybe subconsciously or consciously decided along the way has been to see these moments these moments of change expand right before your eyes, but instead of bringing this newer version of yourself, you kind of maybe even get a little scared, and you can fall back into the patterning. Here's also the beauty of this month and what I'm seeing now that the cards are here, which is really cool. So for some of you, you have had some of these issues, but on either side of you right now, like that's how it feels, and I'm getting the chills. So this strong sense of, okay, the Tower moment's coming, bring it. Okay, the Knight of Swords coming at me, bring it. You find yourself, even though so much is up in the air and you've pulled back, or you're experiencing life differently, maybe you traveled somewhere and you got some perspective, and you realize how supported you are. Maybe you go through something in this journey or this month where something synchronistic surprises you in a way where you weren't expecting it. You allowed the surprise, this mystery, to move its way into your life, and you feel so supported by what you know, what you've learned, what you don't know, what you will learn, what you are learning, what you are going for, how you are secure in yourself, how you're confident in yourself. You notice how you draw certain experiences to you, and then also the power it is to handle these situations in a way in which the Hanged Man is now exposing itself to itself. I think this is the most powerful part. So if you waited this long, thank you. And for yourself. And then we'll get into the second part. But the energy is so solid and secure for you to keep moving, right? Halfway through the month, you're just like, oh, I got it now. I know what to do now. And I'm gonna do my Mars thing where I get so much done in a small amount of time. Just watch and learn from a Scorpio. All right, all information is below, and we'll see you soon.